You are entering a zone where religion is banished. Talk of Jesus, theories, scripture, and the esoteric is the forefront. Can you handle it? Hello. Hope everyone's having a good Friday, and welcome to the weekend, basically. Tonight, we're just going to read some scripture. Be continuing in Jubilee. It's going to be the Book of Jubilees, but translated by R.H. Charles. For those who are watching, there it is, right there. And I already gave it. For those who are listening on the podcast, in the description is the link to check that out yourself, so you can read it yourself or listen and read it through with me. If you might not have guessed, I am the Gothic Mystic, and don't forget to like, share this thing out. Let me go ahead and do that on my end here, so we can get more people joined in. Hopefully my computer does not crash, since I'm trying to use Facebook on my computer here. So just give me a second, and while I'm doing that, join in on doing that yourself. Go. Hope everyone has had a good week, though. On the last few days were trying for me, but I hope it ended well for everyone. Alright, so again, continuing through the Book of Jubilees. If you haven't, check out the website, www.thegothicmystic.com. Even though it may not look like it on the front, I'm always updating it, slowly trying to catch up with all the different videos. Be sure to check out the Dream Interpretation Service if you feel that would serve you well. You can request a free consultation just so I can take a look and give you my front 2 cents. And then if you're interested in supporting this, you can head over to patreon.com/thegothicmystic. I'm working on just building a community on just the different platforms: Patreon, YouTube, the Discord, which is also the link for Discord's in the description. I just want to build a community, a fellowship of like-minded people who also like to question and answer the hard questions, and really think on scripture and what God says, and along with the Apocrypha, and just really ask and answer those hard questions that a lot of people don't like to ask. Alright, we'll be resuming in chapter 23. I'm going to try to go all the way through 25 tonight. Because from what I could see, these chapters were somewhat short. Alright, so chapter 23. And he placed 2 fingers of Jacob on his eyes, and he blessed the God of gods, and he covered his face and stretched out his feet, and slept the sleep of eternity, and was gathered to his fathers. And notwithstanding all this, Jacob was lying in his bosom, and knew not that Abraham his father's father, was dead. And Jacob awoke from his sleep, and behold, Abraham was cold as ice, and he said, Father, Father, but there was none that spake. And he knew that he was dead. And he arose from his bosom, and ran and told Rebekah his mother. And Rebekah went to Isaac in the night, and told him. And they went together, and Jacob with them. And a lamp was in his hand. And when he had gone, and when they had gone, in that Abraham was lying dead, and wow, word a little odd. And Isaac fell on the face of his father, and wept and kissed him. And the voices were heard in the house of Abraham. And Ishmael his son arose and went to Abraham his father, and wept over Abraham his father, he and all the house of Abraham. And they went with a great weeping, and his sons Isaac and Ishmael buried him in the double cave near Sarah his wife. And they wept for him 40 days, all the men of his house, and Isaac and Ishmael and all their sons, and all the sons of Keturah in their places, and the days of weeping for Abraham were ended. And he lived 3 jubilees and 4 weeks of years, 165 years, and he completed the days of his life, being old and full of days. For the days of the forefathers of their life were 19 jubilees, and after the flood they began to grow less than 9 jubilees, and to decrease in jubilees, and to grow old quickly, and to be full of their days by reason of manifold tribulation, and the wickedness of their ways, with the exception of Abraham. For Abraham was perfect in all his deeds with the Lord, well pleasing in righteousness all the days of his life. And behold, he did not complete 4 jubilees in his life, when he had grown old by reason of the wickedness, and was full of days. And all the generations which shall arise from this time until the day of the great judgment shall grow old quickly, before they complete 2 jubilees. And their knowledge shall forsake them by reason of their old age. Land, all their knowledge shall vanish away. And in those days, if a man live a jubilee and a half of years, they shall say regarding him, he has lived long, and the greater part of his days are pain and sorrow and tribulation, and there is no peace. For calamity follows on calamity, and wound on wound, and tribulation on tribulation, and evil tidings on evil tidings, and illness on illness, and all evil judgments such as these, one with another, illness and overthrow, and snow and frost and ice, and fever and chills, and torpor, and famine, and death, and sword, and captivity, and all kinds of calamities and pains. And all these shall come on an evil generation which transgresses on the earth. Their works are uncleanness, and fornication, and pollution, and abominations. Then they shall say, the days of their forefathers were many, even unto 1,000 years, and were good. But behold, the days of our life, if a man has lived many, are 60 and if he is strong, 80 years. And those evil, and there is no place in the days of this generation. And in that generation the sons shall convict their fathers and their elders of sin and unrighteousness, and of the words of their mouth, and the great wickednesses which they perpetrate, and concerning their forsaking the covenant which the Lord made between them and him, that they should observe and do all his commandments and his ordinances, and all his laws, without departing either to the right hand or the left. For all have done evil, and every mouth speaks iniquity, and all their works are an uncleanness and an abomination. And all their ways are pollution, uncleanness, and destruction. Behold, the earth shall be destroyed on account of all their works, and there shall be no seed of the vine, and no oil, for their works are altogether faithless, and they shall all perish together, beasts and cattle and birds, and all the fish of the sea, on account of the children of men. And they shall strive one with another, the young with the old, and the old with the young, the poor with the rich, the lowly with the great. and the beggar with the prince, on account of the law and the covenant. For they have forgotten commandment and covenant, and feasts and months and Sabbaths and jubilees and all judgments, and they shall stand swords and war to turn them back into the way, but they shall not return until much blood has been shed on the earth, one by another. And those who have escaped shall not return from their wickedness to the way of righteousness, but they shall all exalt themselves to deceit and wealth, that they may each take all that is their neighbor's, and they shall name the great name, but not in truth and not in righteousness. And they shall defile the Holy of Holies with their uncleanness and the corruption of their pollution. And a great punishment shall befall the deeds of this generation from the Lord, and he will give them over to the sword, and to judgment, and to captivity, and to be plundered and devoured. And he will wake up against them the sinners of the Gentiles, who have neither mercy nor compassion, and who shall respect the person of none, neither old nor young, nor any one, for they are more wicked and strong to do evil than all the children of men. And they shall use violence against Israel, and transgression against Jacob, and much blood shall be shed upon the earth, and there shall be none to gather and none to bury. And in those days they shall cry aloud, and call and pray that they may be saved from the hand of the sinners, the Gentiles, but none shall be saved. And the heads of the children shall be white with gray hair, and a child of 3 weeks shall appear old like a man of 100 years, and their stature shall be destroyed by tribulation and oppression. And in those days the children shall begin to study the laws, and to seek the commandments, and to return to the path of righteousness. And the days shall begin to grow many and increase amongst those children of men, till their days draw nigh to 1,000 years, and to a great number of years than before was the number of the days. And there shall be no man, nor one who is satisfied with his days, for all shall be as children and youths. Peace. And all their days shall be complete, and live in peace and in joy. And there shall be no Satan or evil destroyer, for all their days shall be days of blessing and healing. And at that time the Lord will heal his servants, and they shall rise up and see great peace, and drive out their adversaries. And the righteous shall see and be thankful, and rejoice with joy forever and ever. And shall all see their judgments, and all their curses on their enemies. And their bones shall rest in the earth, and their spirits shall have much joy, and they shall know that it is the Lord who executes judgment, and shows mercy to hundreds and thousands, and to all that love him. And do thou, Moses, write down these words, for thus are they written, and they record them on the heavenly tablets for a testimony for the generations forever. 24. And it came to pass after the death of Abraham that the Lord blessed Isaac and his son, and he arose from Hebron, and went and dwelt at the well of the vision of the first year of the 3rd week of this Jubilee, 7 years. And in the first year of the 4th week a famine began in the land, besides the first famine which had been in the days of Abraham. And Jacob sowed lentil pottage, and Esau came from the field hungry, and said to Jacob his brother, Give me this red pottage. And Jacob said to him, Sell to me thy birthright, and I will give thee bread, and also some of the lentil and pottage. And Esau said in his heart, I shall die if what profit to me is this birthright? And he said to Jacob, I give it to thee. And Jacob said, Swear to me this day. And he swore unto him. And Jacob gave his brother Esau bread and pottage, and And he ate till he was satisfied. And Esau despised his birthright. For this reason was Esau's name called Edom, on account of the red pottage which Jacob gave him for his birthright. And Jacob became the elder. And Esau was brought down from his dignity. And the famine was over the land. And and Isaac departed to go down into Egypt in the 2nd year of this week, and went to the king of the Philistines, to Gerar, unto Abimelech. And the Lord appeared unto him, and said unto him, Go not down into Egypt, dwell in the land that I shall tell thee of, and sojourn in this land, and I will be with thee, and bless thee. For to thee and to thy seed will I give all this land, and I will establish my oath, which I swear with Abraham thy father, and I will multiply thy seed as the stars of heaven, and I will give unto thy seed all this land, and in thy seed shall all the nations of the earth be blessed, because my father obeyed my voice, or thy father obeyed thy voice, and kept my charge and my commandments and my laws and my ordinances and my covenant. And now obey my voice and dwell in this land. For he dwelt in Gelar 3 weeks of years, and Abimelech charged concerning him, and concerning all that was his, saying, Any man who shall touch him or aught that this shall surely die. And Isaac waxed strong amongst the Philistines, and he got many possessions, oxen, and sheep, and camels, and asses, and a great household. And he sowed in the land of the Philistines, and brought in 100-fold. And Isaac became exceedingly great, and the Philistines envied him. Now all the wells which the servant of Abraham had dug during the life of Abraham, the Philistines had stopped them after the death of Abraham, and filled them with earth. And Abimelech said unto Isaac, Go from us, for thou art much mightier than we. And Isaac departed thence in the 1st year of the 7th week, and sojourned in the valleys of Gerar. And they digged again the wells of water which the servants of Abraham his father had digged, and which the Philistines had closed after the death of Abraham his father. And he called their names as Abraham his father had named them. And the servants of Isaac dug a well in the valley, and found living water. And the shepherds of Gerar strode with the shepherds of Isaac, saying, The water is ours. And Isaac called the name of the well Perversity, because they had been perverse with us. And they dug a second well, and they strove for that also. And he called his name Enmity, or its name Enmity. And he arose from thence, and they digged another well, for they had digged another well, for that they strove not. And he called the name of it Room. And Isaac said, Now the Lord hath made room for us, and we have increased in the land. And he went up from thence to the well of the oath in the 1st year of the 1st week, in the 44th Jubilee. And the Lord appeared to him that night in the new moon of the 1st month, and said unto him, I am the God of Abraham thy father. Fear not, for I am with thee, and shall bless thee, and shall surely multiply thy seed as the sand of the earth, for the sake of Abraham my servant. And he built an altar there, which Abraham his father had first built, and he called upon the name of the Lord. And he offered sacrifice to God of Abraham his father. And they digged a well, and they found living water. And the servants of Isaac digged another well, and did not find water. And they went and told Isaac that they had not found water. And Isaac said, I have sworn this day to the Philistines, and this thing they have announced to us. And he called the name of that place Well of the Oath, for there had for there he had sworn to Abimelech and Ahuzath his friend, and Philcol the prefect, or his host. And Isaac knew that day that under constraint he had sworn to them to make peace with them. And Isaac on that day cursed the Philistines, and said, Cursed be the Philistines unto the day of wrath and indignation from the midst of all nations. May God make them a derision and a curse, and an object of wrath and indignation in the hands of the sinners, the Gentiles, and in the hands of Kittim. For whoever escapes the sword of the enemy and the Kittim, may the righteous nation root out in judgment from under heaven. For they shall be enemies and foes of my children throughout their generations upon the earth. And no remnant shall be left to them, nor one that shall be saved on the day of the judgment, of the wrath of the judgment. For destruction and rooting out and expulsion from the earth is the whole seed and the Philistines reserved, and there shall no longer be left for these Kephtherim a name or a seed on the earth. For though he ascend unto heaven, thence shall he be brought down, and though he may make himself strong on the earth, thence shall he be dragged forth. And though he hid himself amongst the nations, hence even from thence shall he be rooted out, and he descend into Sheol. There also shall be condemnation be great, and there also he shall have no peace. And if he go into captivity by the hands of those who seek his life, shall they slay him on the way, and neither name nor seed shall he be left to him on all the earth. For into eternal malediction shall he depart. And thus it is written and engraved concerning him on the heavenly tablets, to do unto him on the day of the judgment, so that he may be rooted out of the earth. 25. And in the second year of this week, in this Jubilee, Rebekah called Jacob her son, and spake unto him, saying, My son, do not take thee a wife of the daughters of Canaan, as Esau thy brother, who took him 2 wives of the daughters of Canaan, and they have embittered my soul with all their unclean deeds, for all their deeds are fornication and lust, and there is no righteousness with them. For their seeds are evil, and I, my son, love thee exceedingly, and my heart and my affection bless thee every hour of the day and watch of the night. And now, my son, hearken to my voice, and do the will of thy mother, and do not take a wife of the daughters of this land, but only of the house of thy father, and of my father's kindred. Thou shalt take a wife of the house of my father, and the Most High God will bless thee, and thy children shall be a righteous generation and a holy seed. And then spake Jacob to Rebekah his mother, and said unto her, Behold, my mother, I am 9 weeks of years old, and I neither knew nor have I touched any woman, for I have betrothed myself to any, nor even think of taking a wife of the daughters of Canaan. For I remember, mother, the words of Abraham our father, for he commanded me not to take a wife of the daughters of Canaan, but to take a wife from the seed of my father's house, and from my kindred. I have heard before that the daughters have been born Laban, thy brother, and I have set my heart on them to take a wife from amongst them. And for this reason I have guarded myself in my spirit against sinning or being corrupted in all my ways throughout all the days of my life, with their regard to lust and fornication. Abraham my father gave me many commandments, And despite all that he has commanded me, these 22 years my brother has, page turn, striven with me and spoken frequently to me, and said, My brother, take a wife, a sister of my 2 wives, but I refuse to do as he has done. I swear before thee, mother, that all the days of my life I will not take me a wife from the daughters of the seed of Canaan, and I will not act wickedly as my brother has done. Fear not, mother, be assured. Resuming at verse 10, and the son of Canaan of the seed of Canaan, I will not act wickedly as my brother has done. Fear not, mother, be assured that I shall not, or shall do thy will, and walk in uprightness, and not corrupt my ways forever. And thereupon she lifted up her face to heaven, extended the fingers of her hands, and opened her mouth, and blessed the Most High God, who had created the heaven and the earth. And she gave him thanks and praise, and she said, Blessed be the Lord, and may his holy name be blessed. Thanks. And she said, Blessed be the Lord, and his holy name be blessed forever and ever, who has given me Jacob as a pure son and a holy seed, for he is thine, and thine shall be his seed, be continually and throughout all generations forevermore. Bless him, O Lord, and place in my mouth the blessing of righteousness, that I may bless him. And at that hour, when the Spirit of righteousness descended into her mouth, she placed both of her hands on the head of Jacob, and said, Blessed art thou, Lord of righteousness, and God of the ages, and may he bless thee beyond all the generations of men. May he give thee, my son, the path of righteousness, and reveal righteousness to thy seed. And may he make thy sons many during thy life, and may they arise according to the number of the months of the year, and may their sons become many and great beyond the stars of heaven, and their numbers be more than the sand of the sea. And may he give them this goodly land, and he said he would give it to Abraham and to his seed after him always, and may they hold it as a possession forever. And may I see born unto thee, my son, blessed children during my life, and a blessed and holy seed may all thy seed be. And as thou hast refreshed thy mother's spirit during her life, the womb of her that bare thee blesses thee thus. My affection and my breasts bless thee, and my mouth and my tongue praise thee greatly. Increase and spread over the earth, and may thy seed be perfect in the joy of heaven and earth forever. And thy seed rejoice, and on the great day of peace may it have peace. And may thy name and thy seed endure all the ages, and may the Most High God be their God, and may the God of righteousness dwell with them, and by them they may by them may his sanctuary be built unto all the ages. Blessed be he that blesseth thee, and all flesh that curseth thee falsely may be cursed. And she kissed him and said to him, May the Lord of the world love thee as the heart of thy mother, and their affection rejoice in thee, and bless thee. And she ceased from blessing. And that lands us at 26. Apologize for those who are on the video stream. I think the storm kind of kicked a little bit and caused me to stop going live, so I apologize for that. And for those who are actually listening audibly, you're probably the only people who actually didn't get disconnected. So I plan on having a podcast tomorrow. I hope you all enjoy it. I'm looking forward to it. Tomorrow's and Saturday. Again, don't forget to check out the website, www.thegothicmystic.com. If you have any dreams you want me to take a look at, go to that website and click on services and click on dream interpretation. And if you're interested in supporting this monthly, head over to patreon.com/thegothicmystic. There are plenty of tiers that you can choose from depending on how invested you want to be in this project and ministry. And until tomorrow, I hope everyone has a good Friday evening. Y'all take care.